We are here today with a very special fighter. Sorry, my name is Zach from the Too Legit Show, and this man right here is fighting again, April the 21st for one championship. It is Troy Worthen. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. That was a good intro, hyping me up a little bit.
Of course, of course. And the first thing I've got to ask, obviously, we spoke a bit off camera about it. You are in Florida right now. You're near Miami, and I want to know. Florida seems like a crazy state. I mean, what's your whole take on the whole like Florida man meme?
Actually, I'm sponsored by someone named Florida Man Sells, so I have a Florida Man shirt I wear all the time, and people think it's awesome. Um, I've born and raised in Florida, so it's just my life. I don't think it's crazy. I'm pretty used to it, but I guess I can see after living in Singapore for 2 years that from the outside it does look a little wild, and seeing all the news articles and stuff. I will say if you're in the right areas and you're hanging around the right people, you probably won't see what you see in those articles, but it's definitely different than the rest of the world. But honestly, right now with how they're handling the coronavirus, I'm really proud to be a Floridian just because, people need to work. They need to be able to take care of their families. And, the governor's pretty much putting businesses in people's own hands. If you want to take the risk, you can take it. If you want to stay inside, that's up to you as well. So I like that approach, and I'm just happy to be a part of it right now.
Do you think that sort of perceived crazy atmosphere breeds good MMA fighters?
I think just good athletes in general. If you look at the athletes come out of Florida, like in American football, all the like I would say 60% of the guys in the NFL come out of Florida. They have a lot of high level baseball players that come out of Florida. MMA is a hotbed. It's just athletics in general down here. It's tough to say, but usually the best athletes come from poverty, and there is a lot of poverty, and that's just the way it is.
When talking of athletes from Florida getting into, football, MMA, how did you get started into mixed martial arts?
Honestly, for me, it was kind of by accident. I'd always been a really big fan of MMA. I wasn't never sure that I was going to pursue it, but I was a wrestler in high school. And when I had been done wrestling in high school for a little while, I was back in college. One of my friends had hit me up to help him train for a fight, and he was fighting against a wrestler. So I came in the gym, started working with them, and I got that itch. I hadn't been competing, and I wanted to compete again, and I felt like I was really good at it. I felt like it was very natural for me. So I decided to start training, and I took my first amateur fight 2 months into training and never looked back.
And from the regional scene all the way to one championship, I mean, can you talk me through you signing with them? And did that sort of play a factor into why you lived in Singapore?
Yeah, absolutely. So honestly, I was at a point in my career where it was very hard for me to get fights. I went like a 16th month span of not being able to get a fight, people pulling out, events pulling out and canceling the day of,
Hmm.
all kinds of craziness happening. And it was really hard to get a fight. I couldn't make any money. So I was contemplating whether or not I was going to hang up the gloves. I do have a degree in sport exercise science. And I was thinking about just opening a gym and, coaching people. But I just stumbled upon the Evolve MMA tryout in Singapore and put my name in the hat. Luckily they selected me. I went over there and proved my worth. Got selected for the team, and when you got selected for the team, you also got signed to one championship. So it was a life-changing thing for me, and I couldn't be more grateful for that opportunity because I was about to hang up the gloves possibly, and then I'm fighting for one of the biggest organizations in the world, and haven't looked back since.
Whilst living and training in Singapore, did you discover like a new way, a new reason, purpose for fighting?
I wouldn't say I discovered a new reason. It just revalidated why I do this. I'm a martial artist first. A lot of guys right now are fighters first. They do this for a paycheck. They're doing it because they want to get famous. They want to make a lot of money. I think I'll do martial arts to the day I die. This is just the lifestyle that I live. Even I don't really get out of shape when I don't have a fight. I'm still in the gym every single day, probably twice a day, every time. I'm always trying to get better. I want to get my jiu-jitsu black belt. I want to become a better wrestler every day. I want to get better at striking. So this is like an everyday lifestyle for me. I'm not just a fighter. I'm not just doing this for a paycheck. And I really could care less about the fame. So, being in Asia, which is the homeland of martial arts, it was amazing. And it was an amazing experience.
Well, yeah, obviously now you're in Florida and you're going to travel to Asia to fight, I'm presuming. And so what are some of the positives and negatives about fighting over there for one?
I mean, fighting for one is all positives for me. The weight cut protocol is amazing. The teams that we work with for one championship is amazing. I like the route that the company is going. It's not as much about, selling tickets and trash talk and all that stuff, and more so about actual martial artists doing what we love and showing the world that, you put the work in, you can become great at anything. So that's definitely the positives of it. Obviously, traveling on a 27-hour flight, the week of a fight is not the best thing. Sometimes you have a little bit of trouble getting adjusted to the time zone and stuff, and getting back on sleep track and stuff like that. So that's been a little bit of an adjustment. This will be my second fight doing that, because all my other fights in one, I was living in Asia already. Hopefully I get it down to a T this time, and we don't have any issues with sleeping or jet lag or anything like that. But that's obviously always going to be a con. I'm hoping that they do bring an event to North America and I get to try competing over here for them. But right now it's just part of the job, and I'm just grateful that I get opportunity to go work.
We've seen fighters like Dustin Poirier go over to Abu Dhabi when he fought Khabib, and he was complaining about the time zones and waking up too earlier. Do you think, with that all being in mind, you need to go out a bit more earlier, or how are you going to plan it to go out there?
Obviously right now with the COVID regulations, it's not really an option,
Mm.
So we have to be there when we're told to be there. And right now it's about 4 days before the fight, so there's not a lot of time to get adjusted, and it just is what it is. There's no complaints. Like I said, I'm just happy to work, so we'll figure it out, man. Everybody's going through tough times right now, and at least I have a way to make money and do what I love, so no complaints here. I'm just gonna figure it out and go fight, and if it doesn't go my way, I won't make that excuse. It just is what it is.
Man, if I may, I want to touch up on your last point. I think you have suffered a loss, and how has that affected your training and ensures that you'll bounce back with a win?
I don't really put too much stake in the outcomes of fights. I work just as hard every time. Like, it's not gonna
Mm.
change the fact. I'm not gonna say, oh, I put 10 times more effort in the gym to make sure. I couldn't put any more effort than I already do. I already work my ass off, and sometimes it just doesn't go your way, man. I felt a little off that night. It was weird because it was leading up to that fight night is the best I felt. Everything was on point. My weight, my cardio, I felt great. I had a great camp, and just that night, it didn't come to me. I felt a little uncomfortable, and looking back on it, maybe I was a little too focused on winning that ranking. Typically I'm just focused on finishing a fight. I don't really care how I end it. I'm just going out there to express myself and do martial arts. And that time, I think I was more so concerned with just getting the win any means necessary. I didn't care. I wanted to score points. I wanted a decision. It didn't matter to me. I just wanted to get the win because of the rankings. So I think my mindset was a little off. And it's just sometimes you don't show up, but yeah, I don't take that loss to heart. I think it's still a super close fight. A lot of people thought it could have went my way on the judges' scorecard, and it's not like he went out there and beat me up. There's not a bunch of big changes I need to make. I think I just need to do what I do and make sure I impose my will better next time. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing.
Well, well, we've seen a lot of fighters say sometimes when they've lost a fight, it's really helped their mindset. They needed it to reevaluate themselves. Do you sort of see their point of view, or not really? Just same old?
I think sometimes it's just an excuse. I think sometimes fighters don't have the confidence in themselves and their team, whatever it may be, to just say like, "Hey, it didn't go my way. We're gonna keep doing what we're doing, and I'll get better." And they feel like, "Oh, it couldn't be me. I just need to change something up. It's my coach's fault. It's my teammates' fault. This went wrong." I can't blame anybody. It was my fault. I didn't compete well, and it is what it is. Sometimes fighters do need to change things up. Maybe you aren't getting the best coaching. Maybe you don't have a great team. Then make that decision. But I can only speak for myself, and I'm confident in what I'm doing. And I didn't think I needed to change too much. I just need to go out there and compete better, perform better. It's on us. No excuses from me. So if those fighters feel they need to make those changes, go ahead and make them. This is an individual sport, so do what you have to do. But I believe in what I got going on right now.
And you know, speaking of tough opponents and everything like that, your opponent coming from Japan, I can't pronounce his name for the life of me, so I apologize. Yeah, I'm not going to try saying it, but he's on a 7 fight win streak. Does that mean anything to you? Do you take notice of that, or is he just another guy in your way?
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing great. He's been beating some good people and doing his thing. So I definitely have to be on my P's and Q's. But at the end of the day, we're fighting one championship. Everybody's going to be good. Some people better than others. I've fought people with amazing records. I've fought undefeated people and handed them their first loss. It's really not that big of a deal what he's doing. I'm just focused on what I'm doing. I do know Shuya Kamikubo. We were actually at the Evolve tryouts together. So I know what he brings to the table, and I actually like the guy. So it's no hard feelings or anything, but I just have to go in there and do my job and beat him up and prove that I do what he does, except better.
And with one championship being a foreign promotion, obviously operating out of Southeast Asia, do you see it coming over from America, the West? Do you see this sort of as an America versus Japan, or you just like, I'm going to represent myself and just leave just myself only?
I mean, I guess it is America versus Japan just because of our nationalities, but uh, to quote the great Genki Sudo, we are all one. Yeah, I don't. It's not like a big nationalistic thing for me. I do love to represent the United States, but you know, we're all martial artists and we all are chasing the same dream. So I don't hold that against anybody. It doesn't matter to me if I'm competing against a Russian or a Japanese guy or Singapore. It makes no difference. Yeah, it's just that's who I'm fighting, and next time it'll probably be a different nation.
Well, yeah, well, because from what I've seen from America, especially in Florida, everyone seems to be very patriotic there, waving the flags around and everything. So that must play somewhat of a factor in your fighting.
We're definitely proud of our heritage. I'm very proud of American wrestling. That is my
Mm.
background, what I come from. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's not like we're going to war here. I mean, we are going to war, but it's not nation versus nation. It's two guys in a cage, and we're gonna go settle what we have to settle. So, I'm happy to have the American fans have my back, but yeah, I mean, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but America and Japan haven't had the best history, so I don't want to be
Yeah.
bringing up let's go into war.
There you go. And I've got to ask, obviously, you've got it all the time, and you got a cool little collar tattoo there. And I've got to ask, what's the meaning behind that, and what does it mean, if I may ask?
It's actually a Greek tattoo. It's written in ancient Greek. It's probably a poor translation because I got the tattoo when I was 18 and used Google Translate. But it's supposed to say "die fighting," which is kind of like a message to myself, like never cower. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees.
Mm.
So just kind of a reminder and a message to myself to stay true to my values.
And is that written upside down so you can see it, or is it the right way up? Because I know a lot of people, when they have tattoos that are personal for them, they have it so when they look down, then they can see the writing, if that makes sense.
No, it's not written upside down. It's actually written correctly. I'm not quite flexible enough to look down and see that. So
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, if I could to guess. So yeah, you need like no chin for that, maybe, in order to do that. Yeah, I mean, what's more painful then, the aftermath of a fight or getting a tattoo on the collarbone?
aftermath of a fight, bar none. I think every fighter knows, like, even if you go out there and starch a guy with one punch, I don't know what it is. It's just the tension in your muscles from bearing down and throwing everything you have, and you're so sore the next day. Everything hurts. It's funny because like everybody sees these fighters, these big macho guys, and we can like beat each
Yeah.
other up on a daily basis and go through all these crazy training sessions. But the day after a fight, you want help getting out of bed. Like you just don't want to do anything. You want to Uber Eats your food. It's a struggle. So definitely the day after a fight, it hurts.
Well, I guess any excuse for an Uber Eats is a valid one.
Yeah.
Well, what in Florida over there, what's your go-to order? What are you always getting after a fight?
Man, I am the biggest foodie that you could ever imagine. So I already have a list on my phone and my notes of all the restaurants I want to visit, all the foods I want to eat. It's hard to pick one. I'll probably be at a buffet for the first week and then try and calm down a little bit and keep my weight down. But I'm a hamburger and pizza kind of guy. I'll probably go get some burgers, shakes, and fries. Then I don't know, try one of each style of pizza, one Detroit, one Sicilian, one New York style, and
Just
then I'll
everything.
get back. then I'll get back to getting in the gym. But I can't wait to go eat, man. That's the one thing I look forward to the entire fight camp is being able to go be a glutton for a little bit.
Do they have over in Florida? Do they have is it Shake Shack, that burger place over there?
We do have Shake Shack. It's
I
actually
think
from
that needs to be
so
tried. That looks actually amazing.
it's actually like a mile and a half from my house. So come visit, man. We'll go get it.
But perfect. I'm gonna hold you to that when I come over. Then it's sorted.
Absolutely. It's as good as it looks. Trust me.
I hope so, because the portions there look ridiculous. I don't know how it must be a huge struggle for you to cut weight with all of these options around you.
I just stay away from them, man. I just stay clear of them. I watch people eat it on YouTube, and that makes me feel better. But yeah, it's definitely not good on your caloric intake. So I just stay away from it. And after fights, I'll go enjoy it a little bit.
And do you tend to do a progressive weight cut, or do you sort of like most fighters do? They kind of wait 1 or 2 weeks before the fight to shred the majority of it.
I do it progressively because of how we are in one championship and the way we have to cut weight. It's not really a cut. I would say we just get healthier and lean out because you have to weigh in hydrated and we have to weigh in 2 days back to back. So you can't really do like a big water cut or anything like that. You have to be healthy and you have to pass the hydration test or else you have to give up your purse. So obviously everybody's trying to weight cut the right way. So yeah, for me, it's just, I don't cut a lot. I walk around about 158 pounds. So about like 13 pounds over the weight class, 12 pounds if it's not a championship fight. So it is over the 8-week, 10-week camp. I just try and lose like a pound a week. And yeah, it's not too bad.
Nice. And final question I have for you today is quite an interesting one. I like asking this. If you were in Rome as a gladiator in the Colosseum, what would your weapon of choice be and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. All right. Weapon of choice. Probably like some spiked brass knuckles or something. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, probably not that effective. If someone has like a spear or something, I'm just gonna get jabbed
You're
from the
close
side.
up.
But I feel like it'd be a cool thing to have. So probably not the smartest choice, but I don't know. They look like fun. I get to do what I do already, except do a lot more damage.
There you go. I mean, if it's possible, you could also get some for like your feet and wrap them around there. So then you've got all 4 limbs covered.
Yeah, I'll be like a Roman Muay Thai fighter, just throwing spiked knuckles everywhere.
I'm sure that would be very popular in one.
I mean, we're doing all kinds of different bouts, so
Yeah,
don't rule it out.
exactly. And thank you so much for your time, Troy. And I have to ask, if you want to shout anything or anyone out, then the floor is yours.
Yeah, just thank you to my team, Sanford MMA, my sponsors, Lance Maxwell Plumbing, Fit Food Fresh, Florida Man Cells. I hope I don't forget anybody. I need to make sure. I just got done sparring like 2 hours ago, so my brain's not working so well.
No.
Hopefully